Hey, Dr. Johnson, rumor has it that healthy weight is a pretty important thing to you as a veterinarian for your pet.
Yes, it is. I have a reputation, and there's a reason for that because one of the things that I always used to say is that our pets don't live long enough. They don't stay with us long enough. And one of the things that is scientifically proven is that if your dog or cat is at a healthy weight, it can add up to 2 years to their lives. That's a long time when you think that the average lifespan is anywhere from 8 years to 15 or 16 if you're lucky, depending on size, breed, things like that. And so keeping them at a healthy weight, just like us, is going to make a crucial difference in their comfort level, the speed of onset of arthritis and other potential metabolic diseases, such as diabetes, as a matter of fact. So when you think about dogs, I'll start with them. They should have something called a healthy abdominal tuck. And we're going to have images that you'll be able to look at so that you'll be able to tell things that are visual. But they should have a nice healthy abdominal tuck, and so that abdomen has a nice little rise. And again, depending on the breed, that might be a little bit different. If you have a greyhound versus a Labrador, it's going to be different, right? But they all should have a little bit of an abdominal tuck. So you don't want a dog that basically the chest and the abdomen are at the same level ever. That's a big red flag. And there's some other things to look at. One of the things I like to tell people is that you should be able to feel the ribs, but not necessarily see the ribs in most breeds, depending on the coat, depending on the breed, what they're used for, things like that. There are some exceptions to that, but generally speaking, you should be able to feel them without applying too much pressure, but not necessarily see them. So these are just little subtle things that I would tell you to look for. And how you feed them is going to vary seasonally, exercise. If they're being boarded, you would definitely feed them less because they're not getting the same activity. So those are all different things that we're going to talk more about later. But I want you to think about those things, and you should be measuring out that food so that you know exactly how much they're eating. They should eat about 2 meals a day, sometimes 3 smaller meals. Some of this, again, depends on the breed and circumstances. With cats, similarly, I recommend 2 meals a day, or you can split it to 3, but the same volume should be consistent in terms of day-to-day sort of kilocalorie intake, depending on what you're feeding, age, life status, things like that. All those things are going to matter. How much exercise they get, so keeping those things in mind, you want to make sure that you're feeding them properly and paying attention to fluctuations in their weight. Because as an example, with our dogs and cats, their weight changes a little bit depending on the season and how much activity they're getting. So we adjust the amount of cups, or however you measure that. We're very specific and deliberate about making sure that we're keeping that at the right level so that we're keeping their weights healthy. The unfortunate thing is that many owners tend to free feed their pets, dogs and cats. And that's one of the things that can lead to obesity. So even though there are rare conditions where, particularly with dogs and cats, that you can free feed and not worry, that is more the exception. So you want to start getting into a healthy pattern right away in terms of how and how often and the type of food that you're going to feed your pet.